Hi guys, if you ever wondered what are the crucial, the must in order to start your backpacking journey, then stick to me because today I'm going to give you a really comprehensive, a well-detailed breakdown to pieces overview. What are the essential tools and what are the things you gotta leave home in order to become a true backpacker. So today's topic, the guide for backpacking. Anyways, let's get into this. First, I would like to talk about the when. There are two clearly distinguishable groups among the backpackers, I could tell you. One is the really young one, 18 to 21 years old, and the other one is 29 to 35. Well, let's break this down a little bit. The first group, gap year, is the keyword. The year when you're just trying to find yourself. It's really common among West European citizens, such as Germans, French, Dutch, and even English. It's an amazing opportunity, guys. It's so unfortunate that in the society where I come from, Hungary, it's not really well practiced. It's not really accepted, because the more east you go, the more conservative people you're going to find. And of course, on an individual level, it might be different, but on a collective level, it is the trend, unfortunately. So, and the conservative society will tell you that, okay, after you're done with your secondary school, you gotta go to high school, college, get a job, get a family, get a mortgage, get a house, you name it, right? You know the drill, I'm pretty sure. However, on the other hand, in Western society, it's really common that after they graduate from high school, the age of 17, 18, depends, they shoot up for a year of traveling, just exploring the world, experiencing themselves, their surroundings, the whole planet. It's beautiful, especially if you are at a situation when you don't really need to worry about money. It's a really great opportunity. You can do work holiday, where you can hold a working visa for a year and then just work here and there. In the meantime, you can travel as much as you want. Also, just travel around the world, or just like backpacking, do all sorts of activities. But those parents who allow their kids, they are number one, I must admit, because that just gives a huge boost to your brain, to your spirit. You evolve so much, and then once you get back, once you figure out what you want to do, you are ahead. Because what happens to the kids who never travel? They just follow a narrow-minded path, a single-minded thinking, which will determine that, okay, your father was a bricklayer, you're going to be a bricklayer, and guess what your son is going to be. So, you know, traveling will help you to understand yourself, to see where you stand, to kind of unleash the potential, kind of explore what you're capable of, what can you do for the world to make it better, or how can you reach your highest self. That's the first group. And the second group is 25 to 35, and this is interesting because I really admire that group. I really admire because this is basically the age group where you may have midlife crisis, when you may realize that, hey, I'm not a born accountant, in fact, shouldn't be an accountant no more. So that person working for a corporation approximately 9 to 10 years will realize that whether this is really the pace, whether this is really the place where she should be, whether this is really the path she should be heading down, right? Because that's the point around 30, 35, when you get to realize, okay, like pretty much half of your active years, not in life but active years, has already passed, and I have another half. Shall I stick to this path? Shall I continue walking down on that road? I'm pretty much aware where it leads to. I'm pretty much conscious about the outcomes on a year basis, especially if working for a corporation, right? That's the most common example among this group. They used to work for a huge corporation. And what happens when you work for a corporation? You can basically see on a yearly basis what's gonna happen if you stick to that company, or even if you just stick to that field. That when you can change job, when you can get promoted, when you can get higher salary, when you can increase your living expenses, when you can put your life to another level, such as like next child, grandchildren. It's really a cliche. Whether you like it or not, it is a cliche. So those people actually who say that, okay, that's enough, let's quit at least for a year, just see what's out there, and just want to explore the surroundings, want to rediscover themselves. And believe me, those people will never ever get back to the same field. They just realize, hey, I want to be a painter, I want to be a welder, I want to be a policeman, God knows what, right? But those people always change because they rediscover themselves. They realize that I was just hooked on this society. I was just sold by this idea that I gotta make, I don't know, like 50 grand a year. And what for? For existence, for prestige, for status. And those people realize, especially if you go to Asia, you realize that money is not the drive. Money is not the motivation. It's a tool, but it's not the motivation, and that's the biggest distraction in our society. But I'm going to talk about society in a later episode. Like I said, this week's topic is determine who's a backpacker and what does a backpacker do and how can you describe sort of typical backpacker. And don't get me wrong, I'm not putting down backpackers who follow a certain pattern. In fact, I really admire that community because that society standards, what the typical backpackers experience within, should be the norm. You should be praised for traveling. You should be motivated to travel. Your parents should allow you, provide you every single tool. Because I truly believe that that's more important than your parents buying you new clothes, than your parents giving you money for Friday, Saturday in booze. Because those experiences are nice. They are nice. I don't question that. But those are not going to put you anywhere. However, if you live on the road for 1 year, your mind is just like boosted. It's just like on a whole different level, and then you change everything around you and within you, more importantly. So the younger generation, this 18 to 21 mainly, this is like this 3 years interval, right? Where all those people just like go out and experience as much as possible, and they just like dicking around, you know, they party, they do their own stuff. And I used to be that, and I love that. I love that because you live 18 to I don't know, like 20 years in one place, hometown basically. Better case when it's homeland, when you can still move within the cities because of high school or secondary school, whatever. And then you just get out of the country and, whoa, I can be understood in a foreign land. I can make like shitloads of money, or I can meet shitloads of people. I get acquainted with half of the world in like 2 months, and before that I spent 18 years among like this like 100, 200 people. And you just say, hey, other nations are cool too. What the hell was that from the TV, that those people are terrorists? What the hell was that from that people? Those people are a bunch of cunts, and so on. You know, it cracks all your stereotypes about the world, because the media will tell you different. The media is shaped by intentions, whether they are good or not, it doesn't matter. But the media will give you a picture which should be accepted by society. However, if you go out and experience it yourself, you'll get your own picture, which should be accepted by yourself alone. And then you realize eventually that my truth, it ain't yours, and your truth, it isn't mine. And therefore I gotta go outside and experience it. If you say that the coffee in Brazil is like special and it's amazing, like the media says, then okay, it's fine. You think so, but it doesn't mean it is nice to me. So I gotta go to Brazil and experience those. And of course now you can complain about money and stuff like that, but if you followed my previous episode, which is in the recommended videos by the way, on low budget traveling, then you're going to learn about the tips and tops, how can you do this. And believe me, Brazil is not much more expensive to get there than to get to, let's say, China. Because if you get the idea And if you get the sense of low budget traveling, you can really minimize your expenses and you cannot use money as an excuse no more. Alright, now let's move to the where part. It's really interesting because many people start with like, okay, I want to go to Africa, alright, I want to go to like North America. Like, let's say, Africa is super amazing. I'm pretty sure. I haven't been there, but I really have the idea and the impression that this is going to be my real cup of tea, alongside with Latin America. These are the two countries that are still pending. Nevertheless, I can only recommend you to start on a lower scale. Don't jump into like Central Africa where shit can really hit the fan. Or don't go to North America, let's say, when winter can be really cold. You don't want to start with the extreme. It takes a sort of personalities and it's not really common, and now I'm not addressing those people. You should start with Asia. You can fly for dirt cheap to, let's say, eastern part of Russia or Central Asia. Especially there are a number of charter flights which are like super cheap. They offer low price, low seats, right? And you can fly there for, like, of course you have to take some time because of the transfer time is just huge, but still, at least you can get to know the airports better. Nevertheless, I can advise you to start with Asia. It's already developed from a touristic point of view. It's already easily accessible because the charter rides, it's really popular. You can easily find your own nationalities, but at least English speaking people or native speakers. So it's not that you're going to get isolated because of the language barrier. It's not that you have to go to remote places because it's not yet developed. Thailand, an amazing example. You want to start backpacking? Go to Thailand. Easy as it sounds, like relatively cheap prices, nice weather, really constant and stable, predictable. People will understand you. It's really developed for tourist people. Unfortunately, at some cases it's unfortunate, but it's overdeveloped. But nevertheless, this is a really good training center for backpackers. Or Vietnam, it's amazing. Especially if you know how to ride a bike, you should definitely ride north to south. It's mind-blowing experience. So Asia, Central Asia, East Russia or Southeast Asia are really easily accessible. Cheap places, yet they give you the adventure, they give you the plus experience, what you're seeking for, what really gives a huge boost. Because if you go to Africa, it's not only expensive, but it can be over adventurous for you. And then this is something you might not be able to handle. And I can't blame those people because that's a harsh place. Or if you go to extreme environment, where, let's say the monsoon season in Taiwan, or you go to Latin America when it's like winter, or to the straight tropical places like Colombia when it's like humid as hell and it rains like, let's say, like 10 hours a day. These are nice places, don't get me wrong, but the features are really harsh and can be really dangerous at some cases as well. So I would highly recommend that when it comes to deciding the destination as a new backpacker, then you should really be considerate about the destination. Check out the flight tickets, basically the cheaper, the more accessible. Check out the websites, what they tell about the place. Because as soon as you understand that in the beginning you shouldn't do extreme, you should just take it easy and go to a sort of touristic place. I'm not saying Phuket is the destination, but you can find tons of places in Thailand or Southeast Asia in general where you can just simply backpack around and wander around, do some 2-3 days long trekkings. You can still get to sleep in a guest house, you can still meet new people, you can still try hitchhiking or couchsurfing. Speaking of hitchhiking, in the description below there is a useful link which will get you a guide about hitchhiking. I'll take you through the steps, the beginning phase, how to start, why not to do that, who should do it, who should not do it, and so on. So it's a really useful ebook. It's down in the description, just download it for free. I'm giving it to you away because I want you to start hitchhiking. Backpacking and hitchhiking is really close. Not all the backpackers are hitchhikers, but all the hitchhikers are backpackers. That's how I could tell you. How to start backpacking. And it's closely linked actually to where section, because it really depends on your personality, right? I mean, if you're an adventurous person, you should not go to Phuket, you should not go to, let's say, Phnom Penh, Cambodia. because you're not going to find joy over there. You might going to like it. It's easy, nice weather, nice food, nice people, but it's not as adventurous as going, let's say, to north of India, where you can do like 10 to 14 days long trekkings, or Nepal, where you can do like even longer trekkings to Annapurna base camp, Everest base camp, or let's say to South America, when you can just like ride your motorbike across the continent. It must be an amazing experience, by the way. Or if your personality is just like, I like my backpack but I don't want to do any extreme, then you shouldn't even think about those places. You should just go to, let's say, to Indonesia would be an amazing place. You can chill, you get to experience amazing cuisine, like those culinary experiences are just like outstanding. Or just go to Australia and New Zealand, where you can still do the trekking, or stay in the cities for a few days to explore, have a nice quality of living actually. Or just go to USA, where you can just like rent a car, drive around. So how to start backpacking, it really depends on your personality, and this is really interesting. Later on I'm going to get into this detail, because I think personality is a key word about this way of living. I mean, this is not common, right? The common idea about living is just to get a job, work in an office, and if you are a good saver, you get to have a vacation for 2 to 3 weeks, where you can go to a nice hotel or resort and just lay on the beach, enjoy your cocktails, and then get back to your office 9 to 5 lifestyle for the remaining 49 to 50 weeks. The other thing you have to consider is traveling, is transportation. You're not going to start hitchhiking, dirtbag, sleeping next to the road, or asking strangers to, hey, can I sleep at your place for a few days? Oh, by the way, I'm hungry and I'm thirsty too, and I don't eat whatever. No, you have to start easy. Let's say, start with a group travel. I can remember like nearly 10 years ago, I took this group tour to the Scandinavian countries. I enjoyed it. It was a good exposure, because I kind of got protected through the tour guide from the fails, from the pitfalls. Yet I already get like, okay, now 2 hours of sightseeing time on your own, and then I could just like dicking around the city, you know, just like wandering. And it was amazing, because I get the positive, I get the solo trip feeling, but on the other hand I also got the chance to just like stick to the group, have a social life, get to use my own language, the people I know from the very beginning. So not much of exposure to adventure backpacking, or backpacking itself. And then after that, I actually just went with my friend, and then we organized everything together. We made sure we stick together, we did everything together, so we were still there for each other if we felt lonely, if we felt lost, or if we felt just like bored, whatever. And then I flew alone. And then I took a train alone, and then I took a bus alone, and then eventually I started to hitchhike. So again, I've already mentioned, you guys, patience is keyword here. It's not only in sports, or it's not only in career building process, right? It's about traveling as well, especially if you want to travel extreme, like low budget, or dirtbag, or adventure. You cannot do perfect from day one. You gotta allow yourself time. You have to accept there will be a learning curve with loads of pitfalls, ups and downs. But that's beautiful. If as soon as you accept it, it just like spices life so well that you're going to get addicted to it. It's beautiful. I love. You can see my smile again. Like I said before, just take a group, a smaller group, friend, and then start gradually increasing the bar, like fly alone, take train alone, take bus alone, go more and more remote places, and then eventually just go with hitchhiking by yourself, and drop all the expectations, drop all the social judgments, drop everything basically what society put on you or labeled you with. So by the way, when you start hitchhiking, it's going to be a different level, because until now you've been within an organized environment. You've been traveling in a regulated nature, because you had the schedule, whether it was flight or train. You could book the tickets up front, you had everything prepared. You just go to the counter and here's my passport, give me my ticket, and you board, and you take the flight, train, bus ride, you name it, whatever. But hitchhiking is different, because then you're on your own. You plan alone, you drop your expectations because you cannot be sure whether it's going to be five minutes or 5 hours you have to wait by the road. These are extreme examples, by the way. But nevertheless, it's a whole different level. For this, by the way, I would like to help you with my book, where I guide you through hitchhiking as a process, where I guide you through all the ups and downs, what can you expect, what you cannot expect from hitchhiking, what will be the benefits or the disadvantages of this beautiful way of traveling. So I'm taking sides because I just love hitchhiking. I cannot be objective, however I try to be. Nevertheless, it's an amazing motivational book to start hitchhiking, and regardless what's your age, what's your gender, you should definitely download it. It's down in the description. So do that and go and start hitchhiking, and that's going to be the ultimate level of backpacking. Now again, let's jump back to the how topic a little bit more, because there are two major ways of traveling as far as social traveling goes. You either travel with a group or alone, right? It's not difficult. When you travel with the group, you have like ups and downs, same with traveling alone. Again, not difficult. But then when you travel with a group, then you have to make sure that you make compromises. You are able to make compromises. Unfortunately, I'm not the kind of person who's able to make compromises. I have difficulties with that because I truly believe that, look, I'm traveling, this is my quality time. I love traveling. That I think everybody loves traveling, otherwise you don't travel, right? So then you have to consider this. Am I able to get up at 6 o'clock if my friend wants to get up? Am I able to stay out late if my friend wants to stay out late? Am I able to do that and that and that in order to comfort, to satisfy my friend? Because you gotta make compromises. You're not going to be, oh, this is how we do it, and if you don't like, you can get the hell out of here. You can do it in extreme situations, but that's not a travel buddy, that's a slave, and you don't need that. I don't. On the other hand, David Thoreau said, happiness is only real when shared. In many cases you can argue that, but nevertheless it's amazing when, hey, check it out, you also see that? It's amazing. And then when you share it, when you do it together, it just like elevates the experience. It just puts it on a whole different level. And that's good, that's fun. Time to time you need it. And to be honest, I only have a few friends in my life I'm able to travel without feeling that I'm making compromises in a negative way. I also like, hey, if he wants to get up at 6 o'clock, it's fine by me. I'm happy to get up at 6 because I know that it's going to be amazing anyways. Because I'm with the person I need to be. However, if you travel alone, then you can go faster. You can do completely whatever you want. You don't need to make any compromises. I mean, if I want to sleep until 6 o'clock, I do it at 6 o'clock in the evening. If I don't want to do jack shit that day, fine, I just lay around in the hostel or couch surfer or around my tent, whatever. So then you don't need to really worry about compromises, but then it might get lonely, especially if you travel to remote places where language barrier might be a problem, where transportation might be a problem, when you cannot socialize, whether it's local or it's your friend. So that might be an issue, but at least you can travel further away. You don't need to make compromises. You do whatever you want without negotiating, without even considering someone else's feeling, opinion on that. And traveling alone is something for me. I love that, and I would say that 90% of the cases I travel by myself. Not talking about couch surfing or hitchhiking because it's just temporary social activity, if you like. But time to time I do need to travel with someone, solely because I need confirmation that yes, I'm still happy traveling alone. I'm still enjoying my time more alone than with someone else. I'm still getting more out of the travel experience than when sharing the road with someone else. Because we cannot be so sure about our personalities. We change. Nothing is constant, right? We know that. Everything is changing around us and within us as well. So time to time, I strongly recommend that even if you like, if you think that you are more like an individual person who likes traveling alone, you should definitely allow yourself and give some test chances when you travel with someone, to see that, okay, is it still something for me traveling alone, or I should shift towards traveling with someone? And as soon as you get confirmation that, okay, I'm still better off traveling by myself, it's good. You don't hurt, you don't insult the other person. You're not going to say, get the fuck out of here, I want to travel by myself. No, you allow yourself to be tested, you measure yourself, you understand yourself again. And because you see where you stand, you're more aware of your personality. And that's beautiful. When you know what's you, you know how is you, then you stand stronger on your own. Or with others, doesn't matter, but then your personality becomes stronger, more confident. And then these tests are good reflections. It doesn't only reflect on the other person, but it reflects on you as well. And that's really precious value. So even though if you travel alone, you should allow yourself time to time to travel with someone, just to experience. If you love traveling with someone, that's fine. You have to try traveling alone at least once, so you are able to judge it. But if you hate it, then you shouldn't force yourself, because you might be scared, you might be concerned about this, you might be super lonely. And these are like emotions, experiences, which will really downgrade the level of experience, the joy of traveling itself. To add a little bit more to beginnings of backpacking lifestyle is preparation. I mean, traveling itself doesn't start at the moment you depart or you get on the train, on the bus, stop hitchhiking. The first moment is when you create the mind. When you give birth to this new thought that, hey, let's travel somewhere, let's try this backpacking thing instead of going to a hotel resort or just chill on the beach. You know what I mean? Because backpacking is a whole different. It's not as common as taking, let's say, a 2 weeks long beach resort, holiday, vacation, whatever is that. Because it comes with preparation. When you do a hotel stay, then you just go to the nearest travel agent and, hey, I want to go here, and then, okay, sir, here is the price, you pay it now, and everything is booked. 3 days, you can take off. They even take care of your visa, you know, whereas if you do backpacking, most likely you have to queue up for the embassy early in the morning and wait until you get your turn. Loads of paperwork and hustle, struggle. But it all adds up to the experience, and it's beautiful. You can find joy within the struggle as well. I do. So yeah, you have to think about like insurance, vaccination, visas, traveling there, time difference even. Like I made this stupid thing once that I didn't consider time difference, and I bought 2 different flight tickets from different airlines. Some of the time was differently displayed or whatever, so I made like a 2 hours overlap in negative ways. Obviously I couldn't catch it, I had to buy a new one, and again I did learn a lesson. So it's all about accepting the time, the need for patience, the learning curve, that it's not going to happen overnight. And especially when it comes to preparation, figuring out where to go, what to take, how to prepare for that, that's going to eat loads of time of yours. And you have to accept it. It comes with the experience. But the outcome is priceless. So I guarantee you that if you try backpacking, you're going to love it. Again, it's not for everyone, but if you're watching this video, I'm sure you have the need, or you've been already doing it and you just need confirmation. Backpacking is the way, I truly believe, that just like puts traveling into a whole different experience, and you can hardly ever go back to normal if you like. Nevertheless, guys, please go to the description, check it out. All the links for the hitchhiking book, Facebook, Instagram. There are shitloads of pictures I'm uploading for you to show how I live and to give hints what you should do, how you should change the way of traveling in order to get an idea what I do, to get an idea what's traveling about, what's low budget traveling, what's minimal adventure traveling is all about. Because it's just like a really hidden word, and I'm giving you the key to step through that door. Stay tuned, because next week I'm coming up with a new episode, and it's gonna be a new teachings from T Academy. So till then, just follow me. Bye.